Well, good morning, traders over in Asia. Good morning. Good morning. It is about 8 o'clock Central Time here in the U.S. Still Wednesday. Welcome to Quiet Markets. So let's dive into yesterday's key market moves and what's on the economic calendar for the day. Plenty to cover. So let's get started. Gold gains as Fed rate cut bets rise. So gold prices climbed for a third straight day, touching near the $3,365 per troy ounce level in early Asian trading. And that, of course, is supported by a softer U.S. dollar and growing expectations of a Federal Reserve rate cut coming up in September. The latest U.S. inflation data came in mild, with the July Consumer Price Index showing headline inflation unchanged at 2.7% year over year, while the core CPI edged up to 3.1%. Markets are now pricing in a 94% chance of a Fed cut next month. And I actually just looked, it's up to 99% now, 99.1 to be exact. And that, of course, is according to the CME Fed Watch tool. Lower interest rates reduce the opportunity cost of holding non-yielding gold, boosting its appeal. However, easing trade tensions between the U.S. and China after President Trump delayed new tariffs could cap gains for the safe haven metal. Traders will watch today's U.S. PPI, that's the Producer Price Index data, and jobless claims for further clues on Fed policy. Moving over to Australia, the unemployment data is in focus. So the Aussie dollar, it has held steady ahead of today's key jobs report. Expected to show the economy added 25,000 jobs in July after a disappointing 2,000 job gain in June. The unemployment rate is forecast to dip to 4.2% from the 4.3% level it's currently at, while wage growth remains stable at 3.4% year over year. Earlier this week, the RBA cut rates by 25 basis points, down to 3.6%, citing easing labor market conditions and moderating inflation. Governor Michelle Bullock ruled out larger cuts, but hinted rates may need to fall further to support growth. And a strong jobs print could push the Aussie dollar US dollar currency pair toward July's peak of 0.6625, while a miss may revive pressure on the Aussie. Moving over to the U.S. dollar, Canada dollar currency pair. It is drifting lower on the Fed dovishness. The Canadian dollar inched higher as the U.S. dollar weakened and amid firming rate cut expectations. USD CAD currency pair slipped to 1.3755, with traders eyeing today's U.S. PPI and jobless claims data. Bank of Canada meeting minutes revealed some policymakers believe current rates may already be low enough to offset the U.S. tariff impacts, but the oil price declines. WTI did fall below the $62 level, could limit the loonies' gains. Moving over to the British pound USD currency pair. It has extended its rally on the dollar weakness as well. The British pound surged past the 1.36 level, buoyed, of course, by the broad dollar softness and slightly better UK data. Today's UK GDP report is expected to show Q2 growth slowed, but backward-looking industrial production figures may have limited market impact. Meanwhile, the Fed rate cut bets continue to weigh on the greenback, with Treasury yields dropping. The 10-year note fell to 4.236%. Moving over to precious metals, silver and euro ride dollar weakness. So silver has jumped 1.6% to $38.65 per ounce, hitting a 3-week high as falling U.S. yields dented the dollar. The technicals do suggest a test of the $39 level is possible if momentum holds. The euro also benefited. So the euro USD currency pair is rising to the 1.173 level. And that's, of course, after U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called for a 50 basis point cut, though markets still, of course, are pricing in just the 25 basis point cut at the moment. German inflation matched the ECB's 2% target, reducing pressure for further ECB easing. And as far as today's key events, we do have the UK, GDP Q2 report coming out, expected to show slowing growth. The US PPI, the jobless claims, producer inflation, and labor data could reinforce the Fed cut bets. Fed speakers. We do have comments coming from Governor Barkin. It may clarify the Fed stance post CPI. So that's about all for today, just to give you an idea of the times of these reports. So, the GDP, the month over for the British pound, that is at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. So 2 a.m. New York time. The core the core PPI and the PPI month over month for the dollar, that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. New York time. And then President Trump will speak around 1 p.m. New York time tomorrow. As always, every time he opens his mouth, flaps his lips, we can see markets flying up and down. So keep track of that. Stay safe. And with that, we'll get back to the show. We'll do some quiet markets, and we'll be right back. Well, hi there,
Coach Tiger. How you doing?
Tony the Tiger,
Finally.
at it for the first time.
I know, right? Honestly, it's going to be the back end is going to be running with that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, they'll be finding graphics galore. They're
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Some
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
some frosted
Yeah,
flakes,
making
that kind
some
of stuff.
memes for the LOL time that we have.
Yeah, yeah. Except they should have put you on the left and me on the right. Tony the Tiger, right?
I know, right? Make it make sense. Come on.
Come on
How
back
you
in.
doing this
What are you
evening?
doing? I'm wonderful, my friend. Happy hump day
Yeah, where
evening.
you patching in from?
I'm Kansas City. So I'm
Oh,
southwest
wow.
of Kansas City on the Kansas
Yeah.
side, Lenexa, Kansas
Yeah,
specifically,
yeah.
but I'm like 5 minutes
Uh-huh.
drive down up
Sure.
the highway, down the highway, I should say.
It's amazing. It's amazing that you're out there and you're not doing like agricultural futures and all that type of stuff.
I used to do medical transport, and I used to drive by this
Oh wow.
commodities trading firm in Topeka, the capital
Yeah.
city, all the time. And I used to
Yeah.
think at that time, well, shoot, maybe I should check into that. I mean, I had already
Yeah.
studied
Yeah. Yeah.
Forex trading, so that's really my love. But I had considered it at one time, just maybe seeing what I could do to get my foot in the door at one time. That's
I
back
was
when
gonna
again when I
say.
was
I was gonna say. No,
brand
I
new to
know, right?
trading,
Well, Yeah. 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 Yeah.
looking
Things.
for a route.
Things work out the way that they should, though. So
Yeah.
what products are you trading now?
All the 28 pairs. I mean, well, I should say the top half of the highest ATR pairs.
Oh
I
wow.
tend to stick
Okay.
with the pairs that move, 70, 80
Yeah.
pips a day, 90, 100 preferably.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
do a
Yeah.
lot of trading in the stuff that moves slower, but I say that, but some of my recent successes have been with the euro pound, just as an example, 40 pips a
Sure.
day of movement. So I might have to start rethinking that, Tony.
It's okay.
Uh,
It's okay. Yeah, I know. So even for myself, I mean, I'm just been trading a lot of different things over the years, and
mhm.
as of late, I mean, in the last year and a half, 2 years, I found myself in precious metals and then just Nasdaq. So NQ.
Mhm.
Haven't really touched the Forex, but
Yeah.
with my joining Ola Prime, like they're so big into Forex from the start that I've been taking a second look at it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, well, and likewise, I never was really into the metal side until probably the
Yeah,
last year. I've
yeah,
been starting to look at the gold and silver a lot more, Bitcoin, now that it's
Yeah,
somewhat
sure.
behaving like a fiat currency, right? So, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
indices. I've really started digging into those. So, yeah, I used to be a Bitcoin hater back in the day. Not a hater, but just I
Yeah,
was always
yeah.
asked if I was trading it or investing in it. And I'd always lead
Sure.
off by saying, well, first of all, I don't invest, I trade. I'm in and out
Yeah, I
within
know. I was going
hours.
to say they are two different things. We need to,
Yeah, yeah. You
establish
got to
that
explain
first.
that to people. Got a hair on me.
I
But
know.
yeah, it's been great branching out. I mean, I've got a software that kind of tracks all the fundamentals, and it
Yeah,
included Bitcoin and the indices, gold and silver. So I
that's
have
great.
been paying attention. I got a hair that won't get off of me. Get off of me. Okay, there we go.
Maybe it's a spider. Be
Uh,
careful.
yeah. So it's just been nice to kind of just kind of branch out. I mean,
Sure.
I got to dance with the one that brought me, and that was the currencies. So I'll never,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
married to the currencies. I'm just slowly kind of dating on the side, the indices, the metals. So
I was going to say. I was going to
yeah,
say. That's awesome.
side
That's
chick.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I know. I hear you. Everybody's got to have a couple, right? But no, I mean that's good. That's good. I mean, it's pretty good where we have a pretty well-rounded group of traders
yeah,
that trade everything, trade some. I don't even know if I'd call it micro pairs, but some of the smaller currency pairs that might not get as much love. It's good to see. Someone's
yeah.
actually picking them up and giving some light and some shine to them. So we'll see if we
Yeah.
can usually find some trades. Do you usually find trades in like the overnight session? Because like coming
You know
from
what?
trading Nasdaq, like the nighttime is like no way you don't trade.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been a
Yeah.
challenge, but a great challenge. I mean, I'm 12 years in
Uh
at
huh.
this point. I'm pretty well stuck with primarily obviously the New York session being here in the States, but
Sure.
never really branched out into the European and the Asian session. So this has
Hmm.
been great.
Yeah.
It's been great to kind of learn the nuances of how the different time, the different markets work. And it's been great.
Sure.
So I've been traditionally a higher time frame trader. I
Hmm.
typically
Hmm.
trade, 4 hour supply and demand zones down to the 1 hour at
Wow.
times. So that's been my
Yeah.
biggest thing coming to Hola Prime, has just been kind of going back to where I actually got started, which was trading zones off the 5 and the 15 minute, time frames. So it's been a while,
Yeah.
and it's just been nice to kind of get back into it now that I can focus all my time on the trading side of things. I just
Yes.
I
Yes,
fell in
I
love with the
agree.
higher time frames because the probabilities are typically higher, the higher time frames, because that's where the big banks are looking. And um,
Sure. Sure.
back in those days, I was obviously working regular jobs, so couldn't really be on a chart all day. So I stuck with
Yeah.
the higher
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
frames and got to
Yeah.
where I was enjoying the success. But it's actually nice to come back and get into the game a little more, get into the
Yeah, I know.
action.
Yeah, some of the price action, but you always got to be careful, especially I always tell some of the newer traders, like you can't get chopped up as they say,
Yeah,
just buy, sell, flip, flop, and then it's like, what the hell are you even doing here? So,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's really good. And supply and demand zones, I mean, that's like something that people should learn. It should be like trading 101 because it's so
yeah.
true, how these levels um rain true, for resistance support zones and all that. But yeah, that's great. That's a
Mhm.
really awesome strategy. I mean, I've gone through so many different indicators, so many different strategies over the years. Some have
Right.
been really good, and then some it's just like, is this even really working out? Or
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I'll admit I've actually found that I'm like applying an indicator to like a time frame that you just shouldn't apply it to. You know, like you really should take like a zoomed out approach when you're looking at, yeah, like supply and demand or like MACD and stuff like that. So figure
Mhm.
out what the hell the trend's actually doing here. I
Yeah.
wanted to actually say congratulations. You've really nailed these little news segments that you do. And I know that usually you yourself and what Coach Michael are on together on the quiet
Yeah, Coach
markets,
Margot,
or
Coach
usually
Richard.
you and Paul. Oh, okay.
In the mornings it's Coach Michael, Coach Richard for the Forex Fire, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah, usually
Yeah, yeah,
Coach
yeah.
Paul in this slot. Uh-huh. Yeah,
Wow.
sometimes Coach
Yeah, yeah.
Darrell
I was
will,
gonna
will
say.
will come in. So no, I like it. I mean, I've always been outgoing. I came from a sales background, so I just
Yeah,
naturally talk
sure.
to karaoke.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
out there and
Absolutely.
sing. So You kind of lose all your inhibitions when you get used to doing stuff like that. So it's just a natural fit for
Yeah,
you.
I know. I hear you. I hear you. Right.
And
It's good to be
where
walking
you
around like
located?
that. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually out in the northeast part of the United States. So I'm in Boston.
Boston. Oh, okay.
Boston. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
Boston.
I always try to suppress it. Keep it
Yeah. No,
down. It's like one of
I
the
didn't even
worst
didn't
accents.
hear it. I didn't hear it in you. It's just our natural. Us here in the Midwest, that's the natural thing we do, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know. I know how it is. Trust me.
No, I grew up in
But no,
Tennessee, so
I was gonna say, there's probably a position for you at Newsmax or something if this doesn't work out. Reading the news,
well,
right?
I guess so.
I
I
mean,
ain't got no
that's
degrees. I got 98
that's
degrees. That's
okay.
all the degrees I need.
I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say, if that is the type of organization that you want to do, you could go to CNN too. I mean,
Nah, I don't think so.
nah. Hey,
Nah.
I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. Oh my god, it's unbelievable,
That was
unbelievable.
your trading day.
Earlier today was pretty good. I think I was up. I mean, not to put a number on it, but I was up like $1,500 or something.
Yeah.
Just trading the NQ. I mean, there was a massive dump um, earlier this morning, and it was kind of hard to not make money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, just
Nice.
grab a couple of shorts, and usually what it is, I try to do like the 15-minute opening range on
Okay.
Nasdaq. So it's like opening range high, opening range low. Are you familiar with it?
A little bit. Yeah, I've kind of gotten into it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say ask that because I kind of got into it inadvertently by trading penny stocks back during the
Oh
COVID
yeah.
shutdown.
No way.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
did a
Yeah.
little
Yeah. Yeah.
opening range breakout, panic
Yeah.
dip
Yeah.
buy
Opening range
into
breakout.
demand zones.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, a little yeah, dip and rips that type of
No,
thing.
that's
So
good. That's good. I
yeah, I
mean,
got into
that's
it a little
exactly
bit.
what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, and it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed doing that at penny stocks because you're literally just dealing with retail traders. You don't have the big banks, financialists who typically trade penny
Yeah,
stocks.
I
So
know.
things like
Yeah.
breakouts actually work because that's where the
Yeah. Yeah.
retail mindset is. So yeah,
Yeah.
not to
Yeah.
condone it to
Absolutely.
anybody watching, but which speaking of, let's see who's in the chat real quick, Coach Tony. We got Latif. Hi,
Yeah, for
Latif.
sure.
Coach Paul. There's Coach Paul. How's it going? Tony and Coach Tiger. Yep, that's us.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. If you all have any charts, any fundamental news you want to hear about, sentiment news, big banks, retail positioning, anything of that nature, let us know. And this is the guru on the futures. It sounds like NQ and precious metals. So
Oh man,
have at it.
putting some
Tell us
pressure
a
on.
joke. Tell us a lie. We'll be here for a couple hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know. So I mean, last week was kind of a tough trading week for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It wasn't tough in terms of P&L, but it was just tough in general because it was like a lot of news, and then there's obviously like the geopolitical headlines that have been coming out, and it feels like it's probably going to get a little bit tight kind of going later into the week. Tomorrow is Thursday, and then we got Friday, and there's the whole Trump Putin meeting out in Alaska.
Yeah.
Hopefully it stays on, and there's some sort of
Yeah.
positive headlines. But it's one of those things where, man, if you're a crude oil trader, like you better be hedged up and down.
Yeah. Love to be
Because
a fly
you
on
don't
that
know if
wall.
it's good. Literally, like, is it gonna? Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's not working out. It's working out. No, actually, Russia is going to go to war with America. Okay, bye,
Oh
bye, bye, bye,
gosh.
bye. Yeah, yeah.
The fix
So I
skyrockets
mean,
to
we'll
7.
see. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of those things that we'll see. I mean, I used to trade a lot of crude oil during COVID, and
Mhm.
it was great. I mean, well, not great because then like the Russia Ukraine stuff started going down, and it was just like massive swings, like $5 overnight. And, picking up one mini contract, like $5,000, like overnight swings,
Wow.
which was great if you're on the right side, right? Um, but yeah, and then I feel like some liquidity kind of got sucked out, and I was reading a report that some of the hedge funds and institutional banks, like in the last year and a half, 2 years, like they're like not trading crude oil futures anymore. It's just like not worth the risk. And some of the desks are just like getting smaller and smaller in like New York and Houston and the like. And it's like really sad. It's like, I guess there's just too much chop in the markets. And you'd think like they'd invest in some sort of algorithms that could like help them and help their traders like become profitable trading the crude oil futures. But
Yeah,
nonetheless,
especially
it's not. And it's
all
definitely, I feel like it's definitely hurt. It's definitely hurt a lot with the fundamentals and the market dynamics of like crude oil. Because like
Mhm.
sometimes you get like a headline and it's like, it's totally bullish. But then like crude oil sells off like $1.50 over the course of a day. And it's like, what the hell's going on? You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we kind of joke about that on the morning stream, me and Coach Michael, because I'm still new at it. So when it comes to oil,
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at it for about 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he sets
Mm-hmm.
up oil every day as far as a potential trade, and he always says, "I'll set this up, but in my X amount of years of trading, I've maybe traded oil twice or three times because the setups just don't set up." So I joke with him; it's his naughty stepchild talking about oil,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
and then even me, yeah, I've been, I always plot and, project supply and demand zones for everything I keep an eye on. And yeah, for oil, I've done the
Yeah.
same thing. And I don't know. I haven't really had any setups either. So, and we trade different styles, but we trade similarly, meaning we look at the accumulation distribution model. I mean, the basic market structure, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, I buy low on the curve and sell high on the curve, meaning I want to get
Yeah.
after that first turn, start rising. He does the same thing with his level 1 and level 2 moves. So, um, you know, it's even though we trade different, we have a similar style, and so far we just haven't had any good setups with the way that we trade
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I feel you. I hear you.
problem child.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It is one of those things. Let's see. What do we got here? Let me see if we can't find a couple of different charts to maybe potentially look
Yep.
at. Let me see here.
Yep. Let's do it. Yeah, I had one small
Oh,
winner
Coach
today.
Paul, looks like a decent night for the NQ trading. Yes, you are correct. If you're still around, Coach Paul. Oh, he said he's
Yep.
gonna hop off. Okay, I gotcha. See, and this is the other thing is that I actually can't look, and this is a good note for you. I actually can't pull up any currency pairs in
Oh,
the
yeah. Okay.
Ola
Yeah.
Prime because I have the futures accounts. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just
No worries.
be aware.
I got all that covered.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just kind of go through what current alerts I have set. I'll just kind of go through
Hmm.
my mindset on these zones. I typically start with, again, the higher zones, but if I don't see that on the higher, I come down to the smaller time frames, try to find more actionable setups to show people, show the
Sure.
chart, the chat rather. So, but yeah, as
Hmm.
far as today goes, I just had a small winner on XAU USD for gold, and it's been a tough market. And I mean, gold with it being stuck sideways now for what X
Hmm.
amount of weeks. Oh, I'm
Hmm.
on the wrong one. I was on CAD. Yeah, since what April, end of April, it's been straight sideways. So I had to get creative, man.
Yeah.
I had to go down to some really small time frames for this, and I did luck out. I found a small zone. Actually, back in, if you want to pop on my chart real quick, I'll go through that, and then Tony, you can take it from there if
Yeah,
you
sure.
wanted
Yeah,
to show
yeah,
something. So yeah, let's go ahead and
for
pop on the
sure.
chart, and we'll just take a quick look at that small dinky little winner. XAU USD, where are you at? Still learning the order of this setup over here.
Oh
Yeah, here
yeah.
we go. Actually had a couple winners on it, but the main one I had today was right down here. So on this trade, I had a couple different zones I was looking at. I was looking at this little
Hmm.
15-minute zone here, and then I was also looking at this 30-minute zone right here. So I decided to get in a little early to try to take advantage of this 15-minute zone. And it did come through. I had to set my stop loss down below this zone, though, because this was the one I was kind of more interested in. I've just had a lot of trade setups lately over the last couple of weeks where trades have come down close and then taken off and run off without me, right? So,
Oh wow.
so I essentially was looking at this as a zone on top of a zone. So, yeah, I got in here, stop loss under here, also kind of helped by this upward trending line. And
Sure.
Yeah. So when it came down and touched this 30-minute zone, got got a nice bounce from there. And I just was going conservative with it because when you look at this dang thing, like on a 4-hour time frame, like how the heck do you trade sideways chop action? That's what I try to stay out of. And inadvertently, that's really where I was at. But just kind of taking a look from this recent downswing, had a lot of wicks, a couple dojis hiding in there, and then it slowly started to turn up. So I just tried to take advantage of just that small time frame, get that 30-minute, like I said, that 30-minute candle there, and just simply buy and sell above, sell at the top here. So a quick $55, nothing too major, but wanted to get some skin in the game because it's been a crazy week, last week and a half, I would say. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So, and then just kind of looking. So I use, again, I look at fundamentals first. That's always the first thing I do. So everything from the COT report on Sundays and Mondays to, to see where the big banks and institutions are positioned. What are the retail traders doing? I like to use that as a contrarian signal. And then I'll look at the economic data. So your typical GDP reports, all the inflation data, the PMIs, CPI, interest rates, unemployment rates, that kind of thing. And I just kind of give it a point.
Yeah.
If it's exceeded expectations, it gets a +1. If it missed expectations, it gets a -1. So by the time I add all that up, it'll give me a score. 5 or higher is bullish, -5 or less is bearish. So that's kind of how this algorithm works in a quick nutshell. But yeah, after everything shakes out, my most bullish asset is gold. It's actually giving me a very bullish score of a 10. So yeah, that's why I felt comfortable trying to take a stab at that gold position, even though it technically was diddling in the middle when you look at it on a higher time frame. But I just ran out of patience, so I came down to the smaller time frames to play, and yeah, I lucked out and had a pretty nice winner on that. But yeah,
that's good. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, that's it. But NASDAQ is also giving me a bullish score of an 8. Where's it at? NASI, the NASI. So yeah, I typically just start off on a 4-hour time frame, kind of look at where the most recent lows are, most recent highs, and it just kind of goes down as long as I see zones. So like I do have a demand zone down here for a much deeper retracement, hence that green line there, the projection tool. But if I want to get down and play in the smaller time frames, then from the 4-hour time frame, I'll look at the most recent zone, which we kind of have one here, and I'll make that my curve analysis. So my curve analysis starts on the higher time frames from this low to this high. So essentially, I just take my fib retracement tool and just plot that there. And basically, if it's in the red, that's diddling in the middle. I tend to ignore that. I want to buy and discount. I want to sell, at a premium. So typically buy down here. That's why I have this demand zone written up or painted, is because it's in that bottom 33%. So anyway, that's a long ways away. We're not going to get any price action down there anytime soon, unless something crazy happens with in Anchorage this Friday. So my next step is just to get rid of that for the time being. And now I want to do that curve analysis from this point here, this more recent kind of swing low. So, and I just more so do this. I eyeball it myself, but I like to do it for the chat so they can see what I'm doing. So yeah, now I would be interested in the bottom 33% of this swing low to swing high. So curve analysis on a 4-hour, trend on a 1-hour, clearly up. And then we go down to something like a 15-minute to find a zone. So I'll go 15-minute, 10-minute, or 5-minute, whichever one looks the best. So in this case, it looks like a 5-minute. So there we go. Last red candle down rather before the big move up. I have to see volume, so I use a VSA indicator since there's no centralized volume in Forex trading, which is a big challenge. But I just finally figured out a way to kind of mimic a volume. So by using a VSA, it essentially just shows all the activity. So typically it's the bigger banks and institutions that are strong enough to make moves like that. So that's where I like to see is the institutional demand zones, the institutional supply zones at the bottom of the curve. So yeah, that's simply how I came out with that one there. I mean, 23,615 on the NASI and the CFD, of course. and that's
Yeah. Yeah.
really my most favored index. So that's about it,
Wow.
man. Because I've got a couple other currencies, but they're just lower scores. I've got one bearish bias currency pair, and that's the dollar Japanese yen, and that's it. It's a
Mhm.
little bit slim pickings. So yeah, I just thought I would go through that real quick till you wanted to jump on and show what you were looking at. But yeah, that's my strategy in a nutshell. Lead off with
Wow.
fundamentals and
That's awesome.
sentiment, and then go to the chart after I have something giving me permission to buy or sell, and then just simply time it on a chart. Supply and demand. Really quite simple.
I know. It's really sometimes it's the simpler things, not to say that
I try to
that's,
dumb it down.
that
Yeah,
simple.
it's
Yeah,
easy to
yeah, but I
teach that way.
I do feel like, yeah, a lot of people just kind of overanalyze and just freak themselves out into
Paralysis analysis.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, analysis paralysis, exactly. Exactly that. I mean, it's just one of those things that you really can't escape, um, if you don't know
yeah,
really what the heck you're doing. So, I
yeah,
mean, it's just crazy. But, I mean, for anyone that is like going through that, and I went through it when I was first starting on, like, you just got to keep on reading up on it, keep on figuring out what the heck it is that you are doing wrong or right, and some of the
yeah,
things that you care about. Some people, their brains just operate differently, right? Like Fibonacci
yeah,
levels. I feel like Fibonacci levels are seriously correct sometimes. It's like so scary,
yeah,
you know. Um,
yeah. No,
but
I mean, I
other people might just be like, no, I don't think that you should really look at Fibonacci. It's like, okay, all right.
yeah. Well, I always say, how dare anybody say you shouldn't do this or do that? If there's a system
Oh
in
yeah,
trading, a strategy, there's got to be some merit to it. Otherwise, it wouldn't even be in existence, right? Somebody
yeah,
has somewhere in the world made it work. And
yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, I stand by, man. If you have a good, like for me, I'm not saying I'm God's gift to trading, but I love the fact that I look for a fundamental reason to trade something, because that's what anytime you watch CNBC or any of the whatever, wherever you're at in the world, Al Jazeera
Hmm.
Finance or BBC Finance, whatever their equivalence is, right? Fox, CNN. I mean, it
Yeah,
really
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah, yeah.
When you hear them talking about, when you hear the bankers and the institution folks speaking about whatever, any asset, they're not talking about the 5 minute time frame. They're not necessarily talking about Head and Shoulders. They're talking about
Yeah, yeah.
the GDP reports. How did we beat
Hmm.
expectations? Did we miss those? So they're kind of going down the list on the fundamentals. Um,
Exactly, exactly.
so
And
so
how it's
so yeah,
important again.
so when you have a fundamental reason to trade something, you could probably make a lot of trading systems work. As long as you're following the path. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel about it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's whatever works for you, and like you really just got to find out
Your
what the heck
personality.
works
Yeah.
for you. And and that's one of the other things. Like I used to have like charts annotated to the hilt, and like people would look at it and be like, "What the heck is even going on here?" And then I think it was this is probably like 4 years into my trading career. And then I really sat down and asked myself, okay, what is going on here? And if you can't even explain it to yourself, then you got to change something, you know?
Yeah. Right. An elevator pitch, but no fibs. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
use fibs too. I mean, if it matches up on a 50 or a 61.8 or something like that,
Mhm.
I'll use that as an extra confluence, an extra odds enhancer.
Wow.
VWAP,
Yeah.
things like that as well. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
And
no,
what
it's
was it? What was the level that you were highlighting for crude oil earlier in the session?
crude
Was it crossing
oil.
the 63 or 64 level? Was that significant when you were reading the news?
Let's see, what do we have? We had inventories today, right? Wasn't it like 3 million or something like that?
Wednesday.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so just from a starting point, yeah, with oil. So yesterday it was actually on my bearish list, but it has since
Oh,
moved
wow.
to a neutral territory. So I don't really have a trade at the moment, but if I'm just looking at it on a
Mhm.
technical aspect, what did I look at? Let's see, 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, I had this supply zone up here, so at the 65.80 level, So yeah, 6580 level was one of the further away ones I was looking at. If I'm looking for the higher probability, there's obviously a
Mm-hmm.
zone up here as well. I just did mark it in. um, yeah, and that was right up to 50% when you're looking at this swing high, this swing low. So I was keeping an
Sure.
eye on that. If I was looking at a smaller time frame, looks like I was paying attention to probably a 15-minute, or no, I guess I was all the way down on a 10 or a 5. What is that? Yeah, 5 minutes, I think. It's 5 minute supply up in this area here. So that would have been, 63, 69 level.
Mm-hmm.
That was really the only two levels I was paying attention to. But yeah, like I said, since last night's quiet market sessions, it actually fell back down to neutral. So yeah, I haven't really paid attention since then to it. Well, now here's the thing. I mean, I'm still going to keep my alert set because all it takes is a
Sure.
couple pieces of news to swing this to bearish, swing it to bullish. I mean, it's a very dynamic list I follow. It changes, daily. Every time a report's released or COT report or whatever. So
Yeah. Oh, and I see you got the cryptos in there too.
yeah, so I typically start from the top. I'll start with the indexes, the currency indexes, just get an idea on
Yeah.
a daily time frame where everything's going in
Mm-hmm.
general, followed by the VIX at the bottom. And I only pay attention to obviously the 8 major currencies, but then pay attention to what the volatility is doing overall, and then I'll just go to the generic indices for the S&P, Nasdaq, all that, see where they closed or see where they're at, depending on the day I'm trading or the time I'm trading. I did notice Hang Seng Index actually spiked pretty hard today. I think, like a big gap up, closed, but
Yeah.
and then followed
Probably
by
some sort
the
of tariff
CF,
news.
yeah, and then followed by the indices I trade, so the CFDs. I don't trade the Russell just because I don't have access to it on any of the brokers, but I still kind of
Mm-hmm.
follow it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do heavily watch the Nikkei and the DAX and the FTSE over in London. And then I keep an eye on the index futures that you guys trade. I mean,
Sure.
everything's pretty well similar. So, but I still like to just peek at it at times, and the commodities, U.S. oil, and the cryptos. I mean, I've just kind of started paying attention to a few of the main ones. I pay attention to the HODL VanEck Bitcoin Trust because I
Are
kind of
you
bought into it.
serious? Yeah.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I think I bought into it way back here at like 15 or 16 or $17 or something like that.
Oh
Doubled that
wow.
investment.
Yeah.
So okay, I lied. I
Yeah,
guess
I
I am
know, right?
an investor.
No, of course, it's one of those things, right? Where it's like, you only put like $2,500 into it, and then you double it. And it's like, great, okay, I have five
Yeah,
grand. I should have put 50K into it.
right.
Make some real money here.
And then on my currencies, on my forex pairs, I have the majors at the top, but then under that, I kind of
Yeah.
just group them by highest ATR to lowest, just so I can keep an eye on, like I said, the ones that move fairly quick. So I got my
Yeah.
ATR over here on my daily, so I just keep an eye on that, and I just kind of
Mhm.
highest ATR to lowest, and then I pay attention to like things like the peso from time to time, the Chinese yuan, which I don't trade, but then it come down to the currency futures, and then the bonds, and the index ETFs, and then a few select stocks. Some of the majors. That's kind of how I have mine set up, my whole watch list.
Wow.
But obviously, spend most of my time right here at the forex spot.
Yeah,
I do. I
yeah,
do.
absolutely. I'm gonna have to start building out my watch list in here. Still kind of learning the project. Well, we're on Project X. And
Yeah.
it's charts by trading view. Um,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I don't know about the watch list, or you can add some indicators, and that's why it's obviously important to have whatever your original data provider is, to kind
Mhm.
of help you out, so that you can be looking at the things that you look at on a daily basis, and then execute within the Project X platform. But yeah, no, I mean that seems like a pretty dang good setup.
Yeah.
Volume
Yeah. No, I
analysis
mean,
RSI.
because I had learned from somebody how to kind of group things by, like typing in currency futures and just grouping everything that way. So as soon as I found that
Sure,
out,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I need that because I had everything just scrambled together and it would take a few seconds to find this or that. So, no, it's great. But But anyway, yeah, that's
I think we
really
got
it. I mean,
a
okay, so,
couple. Actually, Tiger, I think we got a couple of things
yeah,
in the chat. You should probably take a look at here.
we got here buy
Let's
limit order
see.
on Aussie dollar. Let's see here. Oh, wait, let me move back up here. 150 on Bitcoin, Latif. All right. On your hold on a second. On your $500 account, you made $150 on Bitcoin. Let's do the math on that. So you, uh, let's see here. How do I say this? Be
I know.
careful. Be
Please.
careful. That sounds like you got lucky. That sounds like way more than a 2% risk or a 1% or even a 3%. I don't know what your risk, on that trade, but if you're profiting that much, first of all, congrats, kudos. The only thing I would say to that is for a lot of people that are wagering way too much on a trade like that and they win, that's the worst thing that can happen. Why
Makes
do
you
I
want to do
say
it
that?
again.
Makes you want to do it again. And you start playing Russian roulette and you'll eventually get burnt. So all I would say to that, I mean, you do what you want, right? I just tell you, I know I just met Tony tonight and I can guarantee you he'll agree with this. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be wagering any more than like 2% on a trade at the most.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it sounds to me like you're probably risking 5%, 10%. I mean, I'm not a math guy. I'm just assuming that from your winnings, right? You just added about 25% to your account in one trade. So just be careful. That's all I'm saying. You definitely it's ideal not to go anything crazy above 2% for sure. I have been trading for almost 12 years. I'm still 0.5% risk, slow and
Wow.
steady.
There you
Slow and
go.
steady. Just mosey on. If it's a triple A, quadruple A trade, yeah, might go up to 1.5%. But I used to do a lot of that. And I did the same thing. And I got burnt because I was not paying as much attention to my risk percentage per trade, probably risking 5 and 10%, probably similar to that. And had some wins and thought I was on top of the world. Found out real quick I wasn't. So, yeah, that's all I'm saying. Just be careful. What else we got here? What else we got? What's that? Buy limit on Aussie dollar. Yeah. Okay. So Latif got you a limit order on Aussie dollar. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah. If you guys have any trades, let us know. But also let us know the time frames you got on because that goes a long ways to helping, right? Because I'm personally a higher time frame trader, and I know probably a lot of your smaller time frames. So I'm just going to assume maybe you looked at something like a 15-minute or a 5-minute, right? So, and I'm just looking at this thing from a 30,000 foot view, which translation means the fundamentals. Aussie dollar is, I believe that was a neutral score. Okay, so it's actually a neutral score, but it is a +3. So it's only 2 points away from being on my bullish radar. So okay, from a fundamental point of view, not bad. And if you're just now opening a trade on that lower time frame, well, you're kind of buying at the top, right? And another thing that I would just caution you to keep an eye out for is the overhead resistance, the overhead supply zone, right? Because you're just about ready to run into a big ugly green candle. Let me get rid of my order block tool. Green candle before a big spike down. That's what you're just about to jump into. You will get a bounce. Not saying it'll bounce and just continue to the downside, but you'll at least get some type of a bounce because anytime you run into these supply zones and these demand zones, it works the same both ways. There's typically unfilled orders left in that area from people that missed out on this big move, right? And a zone like that spent very little time in that little basing action, meaning if this was 4 candles, 5 candles, 6 candles in this basing action, okay, maybe they're not, maybe they got rid of all the unfilled orders that they wanted to, the traders that wanted, to trade in that zone. But when you have a zone that spends that tiny amount of a time before the drop or the rise, chances are there's a lot of unfilled orders. There's some pent up supply in that area that wants to get released and shot back down to the downside. So that's all I would say. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a move like that coming out after it bounces. So again, how far up or down, we don't know, right? It just depends, but just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Keep you a tight stop. That's what I would suggest on that. What else we got? Yeah, I love it. The fib retracement. Yeah, Latif, I agree. I mean, fibs are where you get a lot of eyes. So the only thing I would say to fibs, just in general, if everybody's looking at a 50% retracement, everybody's looking at a 61.8% retracement, just know this. The big banks and the institutions are keeping an eye on those areas as well. Why? Mm-hmm. Liquidity. Yep. Liquidity. That's another hot topic. There's a lot of people out there that swear it's full of crap, liquidity and stop hunting and market manipulation and all that. So, sometimes it just means having a wider stop loss with a little less risk, right? Because they swipe through those 50 levels. They swipe through those 61 levels at times to collect the liquidity to fill their orders going in the opposite direction. So that's just my thought on it.
No, it's really true. I used to work on an institutional desk for 6 years, and we used to do it all the time. It's a smart
Coach
money
Tony
concept.
was the one doing
it. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, I was on the team of the bad guys, I guess. No, but it was true. I mean, and it was one of the first things. One of the first things that I learned from my boss was, one time I got an order and I had to, put it on, and I was just working really lightly in the market, picking a couple spots here and there, just like being really quiet. And he came up to my computer and just pushed me aside, and I think it was for like 10,000 contracts. He hit 5000 market buy. Okay. And then we waited, took it up, let it fill back in a little bit. And then he puts in 2,500, another half of what we had left, and actually put a limit on it that was way above the market. But he's like, when I tell you to buy, you effing buy, and that's kind of like how it is that like sometimes they have these freaking orders that they want to paste it onto the market. And sometimes you got to take things to a level that they trade at. A lot of the institutions also don't like the little choppiness that happens where the market really doesn't have a direction and nothing's really going on until you have like a big whale that comes in and just like splashes the water and sends it up or down. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty intense, like the majority of the time. but it's true. It really is true.
Nice. Let me just type this in real quick. Not percent. I'm sorry, dollar. Yeah, and then I was seeing another thing on the chat about some trading rules. Let me go back to that. What was that? Chibazor, Elinia. What was that I saw? Passed the 50K challenge account you guys gave me and done my KYC, and now I've been chatting with support team and they asked me to pay for activation fee. Yeah, Alenia, I personally don't know a whole lot about the challenge accounts themselves. I'm still working to get one myself. So that's all I can say is just get with the customer support. I'm still learning the ins and the outs of that, as I am, simply one of the YouTube coaches. So,
yeah, you do have to pay. I do know a little bit. You do have to pay the activation fee. Okay. But I mean, it's worth it unless you had a promo code that potentially got you, to bypass the activation fee, but you would have known that upon setting up the account and buying it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, a lot of prop firms have activation fees, and yeah, it's kind of one of those inevitable things.
Yeah, it's just the cost of doing business, right? Just look at it like taking a small loss on a trade. That's just kind of the way it works, right?
Got to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. Yeah. Alenia says, I just trade supply and demand using 1 hour candles. Okay. Yeah,
Enjoy.
that's great, Alinea. And here's the thing: when I got started with supply and demand, I would just buy everything, every little supply and demand I could find. I wasn't qualifying them that well, and I probably spent the first 5 years of my trading just supply and demand, buy, sell, buy, sell,
Yeah,
buy,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
until I finally realized how to start filtering out the ones that don't work. So, yeah, that's one simple thing that curve analysis will do, is again just filter out, because anytime you're buying on the low end of the curve, you're automatically buying it again at the cheaper prices relative to the swing lows and swing highs. So, yeah,
Mhm.
something you might look into just in case you haven't, Alinea. Okay, because that sure helped me out. Like I got taught how to trade supply and demand from an online trading academy, and they even taught us curve analysis. Well, I didn't pay that much attention to the curve analysis part. I just kind of pushed it off to the side, and I just stuck with just trend and just those zones. And then I started complaining to myself, why is this zone not working? Well, dummy, you wasn't paying attention to your curve analysis. You're diddling in the
Mhm.
middle, or you're buying in the retail pricing. You're buying expensive crab legs. So I finally remembered back to the classroom, and he said, I want to buy crab legs half off. So where do I do it? At the bottom of the curve. So yeah, just keep an eye on where your supply and demand zones are in relation to the overall curve. Again, and it's relative to the time frame you're on. So again, this example here is pretty much a daily time. Oh no, I guess I had that on a 4 hour. So swing low, swing high, which basically is your origin of a strong move, which it's usually a demand zone, right? And then obviously the higher time frame you go, I get daily, then you start looking at this swing low instead of that swing low. So yeah, again, it's just relative to the zone you're looking at. Hopefully that helps. I mean, at some point you can even use this low point to this high point as its own little curve analysis. But the lower the time frame you go, just keep in mind it's just not as the probabilities just go down slightly, because again, the big
Mhm.
banks, uh,
Mhm.
Coach Tony probably can vouch for me on this. They're looking typically on the
Mhm.
higher time frames,
Yeah.
the daily, the weekly, the monthly. I don't know, maybe the
Mhm.
4 hour. Tony, do they go down to the 4 hour much?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're generally looking at it for trend, right? On the 4 hour,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Right.
just to see if what you think or whatever your thesis is actually going to be playing out. But yeah, for sure, and it totally is one of those things. I mean, I've been on the algorithmic trading side too, and it's one of those odd areas where like you start drilling down 5 minute, 1 minute, and it's like, okay, but is your strategy actually built for those types of time frames, and is it factoring in everything that's happening and the volatility? um, like you don't want to be trading a 1 minute time frame when you have a trend following strategy. Definitely go to like at least a
Right.
15 minute or 30 minute or an hour, because that's when you really start to see trend and sustained trend actually playing out. So for what it's
Mm.
worth.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good stuff. Straight from a former institutional trader, right there.
Yeah,
Team.
well,
There you go.
I don't have the liquidity
And then
behind me anymore, so it's one of those things. A wind gets sucked out of your sails.
right. Yeah. That's. Well, that's all right. That's the beauty though, is you got the knowledge and the seasoning from
Sure.
it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
the,
Yeah. Yeah.
the guy that the guy that kind of was the father of the supply and demand strategy I use. I mean, he was a floor
Hmm.
trader on the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and
Yeah.
he, the best person to learn it from, because he saw the orders, the physical orders, and he matched them up. And he said all of these orders do is just bounce from zone to zone, from supply to demand.
Yeah.
So he kind of
Unreal.
was, I guess you could call it the curator of kind of the strategy that I do. Sam Seiden, that's his name. Anybody want to go
Sam
YouTube him?
side.
Sam Seiden, really good, really, really good teacher, trader. But anyway, yeah. So it's good when you can learn from somebody who used to do it, like used to work on the floor of an exchange or whatever, an institution. So
Absolutely.
So yeah, you guys are in good hands with Coach Tony for that reason.
Well, we try to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have anything you were looking at the moment there?
Let's see. I mean, I'm always looking at Nasdaq. I was actually
Yeah.
I was earlier trying to trade this little
Oh, I'm
wedge
sorry,
pattern
Tony.
that was.
I apologize. I forgot. They
All
did
good.
drop us in chat. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are going to be doing a giveaway. So it
Yeah.
looks like we are going to be giving away a 50K Forex account. Okay, so as always, definitely like it shows on the screen there, go subscribe to the Hola Prime TV YouTube channel, and that's the channel you guys and gals are on right now. That's the Hola Prime TV. So make sure that you subscribe there. Give us a like, give us a chat, obviously. Tell us hello, tell us a lie, right? How you're doing, how your day's going. But also the Hola Prime Global channel. So it's two separate channels. The Hola Prime TV channel, this is the newer channel, right? So the main channel is the Hola Prime Global. So again, go give us a subscribe there. Comment on this live session, number 2. And then number 3, as always, make sure your email is in your YouTube bio. We have to have that there so we can connect with you. We have picked quite a few winners over the last few weeks, and we just haven't been able to, get them set up with the account because they didn't have the email. So it's super important. Just go to your YouTube bio, make sure your updated email is in there. That's the other thing. Maybe you have an email in there, you assume it's good. So just go double check, make sure that that's a current email. I know me personally, I've got 3 or 4 emails I have used at one point in my life or another. So just make sure you got the correct email address because we have to be able to connect with you through that. Winner will be selected here within the next hour. Okay, we'll definitely read that out to you by the end of the show, which will be about before 10 o'clock Central Time, so before 11 p.m. New York time. So stay
Yeah. We got
tuned
1
to
hour to
that,
play.
and 1 hour to play. Somebody be walking out with an account. There you go. So, well, yeah. I mean, if you didn't have anything to show, I could definitely go over just a couple more of my alerts if you
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's just one of those
Okay.
things where I'm looking at the Nasdaq, but it's just like there was a little wedge pattern forming. I mean, you can show in the
Oh yeah.
Nasdaq 100, but and then we were getting a little bit of a break of structure, which usually happens with these wedges. I mean, technical analysis only gets you so far. Eventually,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it can get a little bit dangerous too when you start just painting random lines on a chart, right? Gets you into trouble.
It's all subjective,
And
right?
no, yeah. You got to look at the oh yeah, 5 minute. Actually, interesting enough, I've been looking at like the 2 minute. You ever use the 2 minute chart?
I've gotten down to the 2 and 3 minute charts before. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like
I've,
I don't even look at the 1 minute anymore, but kind of just
mm-hmm.
let's see, since 7:50 this evening your time, there's been just
Mm-hmm.
this little bit of a sell off, like kind of a dip back down, and then a little bit of a wedge, like a falling wedge pattern forming, and then a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
support around that 23,842 level. Um, Obviously, with the wedge pattern, you're looking for like some sort of bullish confirmation or a close above, which you had that massive green boner candle that just like straight up.
Boner candle.
So,
Never
so
heard of
you
a
get a
boner
nice little
candle.
bull flag playing out right now. And I guess, like, because I really don't trade like the evening session, it's just one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where you got to wait for the bull flag to actually start painting because
That's
like
what I was.
when you go back down and like what's that?
Hmm. That's what I was going to ask. Is have you traded this session before?
No. I mean, and generally, I mean, look at my P&L. Like it's I'm in the red.
Well,
It's one of those things where it's like it's one of those reasons like I don't really trade it because like
no.
of course, like if you're trading the US names during the Hong Kong session, it's like, okay, if there's no headlines that are really coming out right now, then, the people on the Hong Kong side aren't really going to be touching the US names too much. So there's obviously a
Mm-hmm.
liquidity drag, so it's just like this wedge pattern that played out but didn't play out, and it was actually like
Yeah.
reversing, turned out to be a trap, and then you get this massive green candle that just runs everybody over.
Yeah.
That was eventually getting short, and it just continues to go up. So I mean, maybe I'll wait for the flag pole to finish painting, and then we'll get like a little bit of the flag, which is just that rightward um, chop that ends up painting. And I really don't like to like look at, oh, it's a bear flag, so we should just buy it and like see what happens and roll the dice. Some people swear by bear flags and they say that it's like 70% win rate on bear flags, but like I think it's totally less than that. I
Yeah.
really think it's like 55%. So
Hmm.
one thing you don't want to see is obviously this thing just kind of come crashing back down. So I look to like see if there's like north of 50% retracement. So if the price comes back, pulls back, 50 to 55%, then it's definitely not playing out, you know. So, I mean, it's one of the things that I'll be watching, especially because it's so late in the trading session or early in the trading session, depending on where you are. But that's just kind of the
Yeah.
one thing that I'm watching. And then silver, I mean, silver, I don't know if there's any headlines that were pushing it around. No, it's only traded in like a
Mm,
10 cent delta in like the last 2 hours. So I really don't think much is happening here in the precious metals market. If there's any market that
yeah.
anyone wants to us to take a look at, obviously shout it out. And
Yeah.
don't
And we did
forget,
have a
subscribe,
question.
like,
Yeah.
get that 50K
Auditings.
account.
Latif asked, "How can I manage emotion while trading?" What do you think on that, Coach Tony? How do we manage our emotions?
How do we manage our emotions? Well, let's see. In the beginning, I would tell you, because earlier on, I was just like totally trading, by the flying by the seat of my pants, right?
Yeah.
And I found out that, if I had like a bad day or a bad morning, then I would literally have like a bad trading day. And it was so weird how, my emotion and my mental state was totally tied to the decision making that I was doing when behind the trading desk. Um, so I mean, it's one of those things where, you gotta understand why you're taking a trade. I think that
Hmm.
if you have to convince yourself and say, no, I think this is a good idea, then it's definitely not a trade that you should be taking. And it's definitely not a trade that if you put it on and then it starts not working out or going against you, you for sure should not be doubling down unless there's like an absolute reason and you can explain it with clarity to yourself and to anyone else that wants to listen about why you are taking that trade. So that's kind of the first thing. And then the second thing is, if you can't trust yourself, if you can't even trust yourself to keep a cookie on your desk and not touch it for an hour, then I think you're going to have a tough time trusting yourself to cut your losers when you really need to. That's one of the biggest things that I really think doesn't get driven home enough, is that people let their losers ride, and it's just like, why are you doing that? Especially if you're looking at like these smaller time frames, and I mean 10-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute time frame. Don't let your losers ride. Okay, because you're drilling down so granular in the price action, you can lose your entire account. You can blow up your entire account in 30 minutes. Especially if you're using leverage too. You buy one contract, you average down, you buy another contract, and then you know 20 more points happen, and then you just blew your account. So cutting your losers, having stop losses, and if you're not comfortable with actually having a pending stop loss order out there, then have a mental stop loss. Right click,
Hmm.
set a freaking price alert, so that
Hmm.
if you're not looking and you're scrolling on your phone or looking through Instagram or whatever, you at least won't get caught off sides too bad. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that those are more important. Anything else that you know you have
Yeah.
found that has helped you over the years from the mental aspect?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Before I answer that, I do want to get back with you, Alenia. about the fee we were talking about. So Backend did let me know you do not have to pay activation fee. Anybody can do this. You can reach out to live chat, which is on holaprime.com. Okay, and the concern will be handled accordingly there. So yeah, that's for that activation fee. So sorry for any confusion on anybody's behalf, but that's what I'm getting told directly from back end. So definitely go to holaprime.com. There'll be a chat feature on there, and they will be more than happy to help you out, Alinea. So hopefully that does clear some stuff up. Okay, and yeah, so there we go on that. Yeah, back to the emotions. You got to be stoic in this thing. It's easier said than done too, because. And another thing I'll say on a side is, I would say this: the people that you like to listen to, don't listen to them. The people that you hate listening to, probably the ones you need to be listening to. What do I mean by that? Well, you go on to YouTube as an example. There's plenty of guys on there, showing their Lambos, showing their penthouses, showing their Rolexes, their $1,000 shades, and all this. Right? They're talking about how they built their Forex from this to that in a small amount of time. Bullshit. Pardon my language, but
yeah.
A lot of those guys and gals on there are literally renting those penthouses, renting those Lambos, or they've got rich friends that are allowing them to use their real estate to kind of showcase some of that stuff. Yeah, they may know the basics of trading, but they haven't figured all the nuances. Nobody, I mean, there's some good ones on there, yes, but I have seen, I don't know about you, Tony, I've seen so many on there that have they've been busted at one point or another. There are people that actually do deep dives on these people and just air their dirty laundry. So, and it's people that I used to watch myself and think, oh, they're pretty cool. They've got this, they've done this, they've done that. They turn out to get busted. So all I'm saying is, if somebody's telling you trading's hard, trading takes a while to master the nuances. All right, and they're not saying trading's easy. Those are the people you might want to listen to, because we're not here to BS you. I mean, it's there's times where we've all wanted to quit, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's hard to do it overnight. If you're doing a get rich overnight, it's because you're gambling way too high. You're putting everything on red and letting it spin, right? And that's kind of why I spent a few minutes earlier when we were asked about the person that won $150 on a $500 account. Just want to tell you little things like that, because we may not always tell you what you want to hear, but we'll tell you what you need to know. So anyway, I say all that to say, just pay attention to who you're watching, because it's very easy to get pulled into the hype of the fly by the seat of your pants overnight, pie in the sky, get rich quick type stuff. This stuff is hard, and this stuff does take time, right? I'm in year 12 now. Well, almost. I guess January will be my 12th year, but I spent most of my first decade spinning my wheels trying to figure this thing out, and that's after getting a formal education that I spent a few grand on, right? But they teach you the basics, and the basics are quite simple to learn. We can obviously teach the basics.
But eventually it becomes trial by fire, right?
Yeah. But I care more about the nuances of trading, because most of you guys and gals on here probably already know the basics of hitting the buy button, hit the sell button. You might know a thing or two about some moving averages or support and resistance, right? Those are some of the basic things, but there's nuances that go into this to make a person profitable. And that's, how do I use this oscillator to filter out bad trades? How do I use supply and demand, or maybe the Fibonacci retracements, like Coach Tony said, or VWAP, right? Anchored VWAP, standard VWAP, things like that. Those are all the things that take time to get good at, and that's not to get into a trade. That's to find trades to avoid. Like I said, I don't know about you, Tony. I spent the first 5-6 years getting into every trade I could see, but then I spent the next 5 years. But then I spent the next 5 years learning how to filter out that 80-85% of the trades that I shouldn't have even been messing with to begin with. So, but most of all, have fun with the process. Let us
Sure.
joke and cut up, act a fool on here, loosen you up a little bit. Stay tuned in with us. We got all kinds of different shows, and I don't take myself serious. I'm a hillbilly from Tennessee, so if a hillbilly from Tennessee can do this kind of stuff, then you know, you guys all out there probably have degrees or college degrees. I don't have that. I just took a little bit of
Yeah, yeah.
basic stock trading course, forex trading course, and I have a why, right? I have a strong why. So find your why, and your why should not be money, right? What do
Hmm.
you want to use that money for? Do you have a charity? Do you want to take care of your family? Do you want to go and help build an orphanage, right? Or go
Hmm. Hmm.
devote your time to whatever, maybe in your church, right? Helping missionary trips or things like that. So figure out what your why is above and beyond the money. Like that's what will fuel you whenever you have a bad day, bad trading day, a bad trading week, bad trading month, God
Hmm.
forbid, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So figure that out. What makes you tick, and then obviously the trading, the good Lord or whoever you follow, right? Whenever the time's right, the universe will find a way to help you get to that point. So, but yeah, just stick with it. Just one day at a time. It's cliche, Tony. I know we've heard it all of our trading career. It's cliche, but
No, I know,
this
and
stuff
right,
really.
like no one wants to hear that, right? Oh, just one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. I know, but that's one of the things that I love about trading is that it really doesn't matter. Like you can have any background. You can have no education, you can have all the degrees in the world, and we're all kind of just in the same boat, grinding it out to just try to be profitable, try to make a couple of bucks, and if you get it right, then all the power to you. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, kind of what you were saying before, like you have these fly by night YouTube gurus that, kind of just promise you the world. Like you can be like me if you just listen to me and buy my course for $7,000 and all that. I mean, I know some
Right.
of them. I know some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them have tried to hire me in the past, and it's like unbelievable. I was actually talking to a guy. This is over a year ago. He's over in Europe, and he's actually based in Italy, and he runs some sort of course and then signal generation for some sort of monthly fee. And he was contacting me about an algorithmic trading product that he wanted um, to be set up for his followers, and I was like, well, how much trading do you guys do in a given day? And he's like, none. And he looked at me like stunned that I even asked that question. He's like, none. And I was like, but you guys are doing the trading signals and you're like finding opportunities in the market. And he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't do any trading anymore. And then he kind of it was ridiculous that he even went into like the
Yeah.
numbers. Like he was making like $1 million a month from between like the streaming platforms, YouTube, and all this other stuff talking about trading, rather than doing it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is so, it was eye opening, obviously, because I had this guy
Yeah.
that was literally just telling me exactly what he does and how it is like just a scam. So like you just can't
Yeah.
if you want anything in life, obviously, you're not just gonna get it handed to you, you know?
Yeah.
Like you gotta work for
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah, you gotta stay up, yeah, you gotta study, yeah, you gotta spend a little money. Whether it's, buying like an actual course that's gonna teach you the basics, the fundamentals about what the market is, why futures or forex move the way that they do, which is madly important to understand.
Yeah.
Um, or it's just like getting into the market, jumping in, opening up a brokerage account with a couple $1,000 and trading micros until you actually understand price action. It's all just a piece of the puzzle that builds you into a better trader.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. It's one day at a time. I mean, it's as simple as that. Yeah. Just don't try
Yeah.
to cram like you're cramming for a college finals or a high school finals, right? Just take it one
Exactly. And
day at a
don't
time.
lever up. Don't lever up just thinking that like, oh, I'm going to do a trade and it's probably going to work out. Don't try to do that because you'll blow up an account. Speaking of
Yeah.
accounts, we got a 50K account here.
Yeah. Coming up. Coming
Yeah,
up.
coming up. All right.
They'll be getting a graphic ready here in a little while. But a couple other
Nice,
things
nice.
we had. What did we have here? Oh, somebody was asking about Dow 30. So yeah, and also the Dixie. Catherine, you were asking about the Dixie. So one of the things I did over here on my chart, I just brought up some of the economic data that I pay attention to for the U.S. dollar, and this will actually answer your question as well for the Dow 30. That was Latif. Yeah. So this is really where I kind of get my start. I just kind of look at all the GDP, the PMI data, the inflation data with the CPI, PPI, PCE, the employment data, the jobs, all that stuff. Non-farm, the NFP, like we had a couple Fridays ago, that knocked everybody's socks off. U.S. MBA mortgage number, how many houses have been put out each week, things like that. So this is what I mean by when I get a bullish or bearish reading, it'll give a point. It'll give a point for bullish. It'll take a point away for bearish. So, but when you add it all up and put it in a percentage, it basically says, then this again is for the US dollar, 42% of these reports have exceeded expectations. And then obviously the other remaining 57, whatever percent missed expectations. So that pretty much, when I see this, when I look at anything in the 40 to 60% range, that's where I look at it as a neutral, just like a neutral currency. Anything that's under the 40 number, well, that's where it's more bearish. Anything over the 50%, over the 60% level, that's more bullish. So that's essentially all I do is just match a weaker currency with a stronger currency, and it goes by the percentage. So with this one being a neutral, the only thing I would care to do is, buy something against it if it's a lot stronger than a 60%, if that makes sense. So anyway, you look at the Dixie, 42%. You got the stock market, which they basically use the S&P as a baseline. So it's about 50%. Now, despite that, though, because you were asking about the Dow 30, yeah, USD, I was just looking at it. So, yeah, it's a bullish score of a 5, right? Bullish score of a 5. So, yeah, I'd be definitely interested in buying the Dow if I could get a retracement into a zone. So, looking at it from a daily time frame, clearly we've been up. Clearly we're up even in the short term. So, probably would just be looking to do something like this, a little curve analysis. Probably from this point here, since we had that kind of sideways lollygag action for a while. So that's a daily. 4 hour, obviously uptrend. Go down to a 1 hour. I don't really see a demand here yet. 15 minute. Well, so 4 hour, by the way, the curve analysis is going to be the same, right? So 1 hour uptrend, 15 minute. Yeah, I don't really have a demand zone until I come down here. Now, I like this for an area of demand, but let's even fine tune that. Let's see if it looks any better on a 10 minute. Not really a 10 minute. 5 minute. That's the low as I go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, I think the best looking is probably going to be that 15. So yeah, I would just essentially wrap me a demand zone rectangle around that spot there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4-ish basing candles. And then this leg out candle doesn't look the greatest. Let's actually see what a 30 minute looks like. 30 minute, 1 hour. Yeah, it's just not the greatest. Typically when I get a basing candle, go back to that 15. When I get a basing candle, which is obviously going to be that red candle there, I want to see my leg out candle not stop underneath the range of the basing candle itself. I would prefer this candle and this candle to be like the same candle. So in other words, I'd love to see this candle push clear out here and close up here. But it didn't. It kind of closed here. So it's not really the greatest zone. Just looking at it on a smaller time frame, a 15 minute. Now, you'll find other zones up higher. But again, they're high on the curve, which means what? Crab legs, super expensive crab legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me personally, I would probably much prefer to see, honestly, a break. If I go back to my daily, I would prefer from where price is to break this recent high point and close up here somewhere, and then make a new demand zone in this area to buy it alongside. That's just me personally on a higher time frame. I just don't like the way the picture looks on a smaller time frame for my trading style. Now, there's other trading styles that'll probably find something different and something better. And in fact, I mean, actually, if you look at a 4 hour, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well, let's do this. So if I look at this on a 4 hour time frame, I got this last red candle down before this big move up, right? So I would want to wrap a rectangle around that 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 basing candles. So here's what you got, ladies and gentlemen. You got your leg in candle, which is a drop. And then you got 4 basing candles. So that's your base. And then you got your big move up. So that's your rally. This is a drop base rally. You can also find rally with a little bit of a base there rally, right? But the problem with that rally base rally, or the base in that rally base rally, is it's where? It's in the middle. Diddling in the middle. People get chopped to pieces. So, yeah, if I look at this on a 4 hour time frame, I could see buying down here. In fact, I have an alert a little lower, but that was on a lower time frame. But I probably didn't see this on the 4 hours. So thank you, because I was looking at this zone on a smaller time frame, but failed to actually see it on a 4 hour. So there we go. So basically, that's 44,100 level for you. Who is that? I believe Latif. Yeah, Latif. Yeah, that would be maybe a point of interest for me. Well, again, just to recap that, just so that you can understand the mindset, excuse me, low point, high point. So that's where I wrap my curve analysis on there. I want to buy in discount, which means I want to buy on the lower 33%. Or maybe some of you have seen, I've done this in the past. I've thrown up the Hungarian flag, right? This is the same concept. Buy in the green, which is the lower 33%, sell in the premium zone, which is the red, right? I kind of throw that up as a joke, but it makes for a really good way to, get a visual. So hopefully that helps. I just use the fib retracement tool because it's a lot quicker, a lot more accurate. So.
Gotta love the fibs.
That's right. That's right. And then somebody asked for the Dixie. So I'll go over that real quick. Dixie, yeah, 1 hour time frame. Obviously, we had this swing or this low point here, since January 13th. And then obviously we started to roll around here on the bottom. So everything's lower highs, lower lows, right? And then we finally started to make our first higher low. And then we made our first higher high. So that when that candle closed here, that officially told us we were in an uptrend, albeit a brand new one, an infant. So infants have to grow up, right, before you can fully trust them. So we have another low point, but I want to see another high point to really have faith in it, right? But if you're looking at things like the euro pound, it's obviously going to be the opposite, kind of a reciprocal of this. It's okay to look for zones in this area down here. So if I go down, if I'm looking in this area, well, like here, I mean, we're kind of in a little bit of basing action here on the Dixie, on the dollar index. So, we could potentially start to see some bounce off of this area here to the upside. Well, the best way to do that is go to something like the euro dollar or the dollar Japanese yen. It's up. Well, let's just do the dollar Japanese yen. It's gonna look very similar. Yeah, and then from there, this is where we just look for a demand zone on a dollar Japanese yen as a potential confluence. Since on the Dixie we're running into this zone here. All right, I'm not making this exact size. I just threw it up just quickly, but if we're bouncing off a demand zone for the Dixie, now we don't obviously trade the Dixie itself, but we just use it as a point of bounce.
Point of reference, yeah.
Point of reference, yeah, exactly. Okay, well then, if I'm looking at that same time frame, we could definitely see a reversal here. That's why I drew this zone up down here at the bottom. albeit I think that was a 1 hour. So yeah, potential zone down here to buy. Now, I personally wouldn't buy it right now because I don't have a fundamental reason to buy it yet. Dollar Japanese yen, first of all, is the strongest bearish currency I have. So I'm not interested in buying. I'm more interested in a reversal. I'm more interested in selling up here somewhere, which I need to actually update that curve because price dropped. But yeah, anyway, that's a whole other kind of topic. But we could, I'm more interested in finding a supply zone up here to sell into on a retracement. Sell up here and then buy to cover somewhere ahead of that lower demand zone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just an example of how I use that. That's kind of old news right there.
What's the lowest time frame that you would use to find like the supply and demand zones?
Not 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll go to 5 minutes. I mean,
Really?
I don't like to.
Wow.
I prefer the 15 at the lowest. And honestly, I just do it just to get more content. I mean, they're still accurate.
Right.
I mean, again,
Sure,
the zone, the beautiful thing with supply and demand, and I also like to use the master pattern indicator. I mean, they work on all the time frames, and that's just kind of an actionable way of looking at Wyckoff theory, right? The accumulation distribution trend. So But yeah, again, I got started trading supply and demand on the 5 minutes, the 15 minutes. So, but yeah, then I just went to the daily and the 4 hour. But no, it's been great. I've actually enjoyed it. I've had some winners lately on the 5 minutes and the 15-minute time frame. So, yeah, I just prefer the higher because it's more accurate, gives you a little more wiggle room, right? A little bit less chance of getting stop hunted from people like you.
Yeah. No, I know, but especially the higher time frame should definitely come with like a little asterisk disclaimer, and then that is that like you got to give your trade some room for sure to play out. You can't be, because sometimes you're like too early to a trade, right? And nothing's perfect, right? And if it is perfect, then great, good for you. But honestly, like, yeah, nothing is perfect. But sometimes, you're a little bit early to the trade. And, if you still have a thesis that your trade's going up or your trade's going down, long sell or long or short, then maybe it gives you an opportunity to have more conviction in the trade. So you double down, But obviously, again, looking at that higher time frame, you can't go down to, if you're trading the 1 hour chart, you can't go down to the 5 minute chart and then it starts to go against you a little bit more and you're like, okay, I'm getting out. You can't do that. Like, you gotta stick with it, stick with your trade, figure out what it is that you're trying to achieve, and let your trade play out, because that's one of those things. Is I can't even tell you how many times it happened to me. Like, I essentially choked my trade, right? Like, I constricted it down to like having a really, really tight stop loss. Stop loss gets hit, and then would have been so far in the money, it wouldn't even have been funny, So, like, you just gotta watch out. You gotta be careful there.
And that's exactly, you explained it perfectly, because like, yeah, I mean, I'll do like, I'll do a higher, obviously, risk on the higher time frames. But when I come down to these smaller time frames, a couple of things. I definitely drop the risk, but I also give myself a little more opportunity. Like, that's why I took the trade off of this morning. And when I took the trade off this 15-minute demand zone, well, it's hard to pick a demand zone sometimes on the smaller time frames. And again, I was playing with fire anyway, because I was diddling in the middle from a higher time frame perspective on gold.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to trade this on a smaller time frame, I better take that zone, because it could run off and leave me. But I better have a zone underneath just in case. And that's exactly what happened. It pierced through demand zone number 1, and it just so happened to catch the bid on the bottom. So it just, and not only that, I was being careful further with the fact of, okay, I'm not going to try to latch onto this for a giant move. I'm just going to take a simple close and the overhead supply, which in this case, I just had it kind of set up like that, to, sell just ahead of that.
Sure.
So buy, very small range, not looking to get a ton of pips or points on this thing. just enough to put a few bucks in my pocket. It was $55. I'll take it. Right.
Yep.
So
Why
yeah,
not?
there's
Right.
a lot of reasons to be extra careful on the smaller time frames, but you can still make money on the lower time frames. So I don't want to discourage anybody from that. Just saying, just got to be a little extra careful. That's all.
No, it's well said. That's well said. Let's see here. Come on. Yeah, I'm trying to trade back. Now I'm only down $64. So, we're slowly getting
There you
there.
go.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to
There you go.
take it because, $64 is freaking nothing. So,
Did you
it's
want to
essentially flat,
show
right?
on your
That's
chart?
just a couple of
Did you
commission
want to
fees.
screen? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, back end, you can switch over my chart anytime. I could probably actually
Pretty well.
walk you guys through like the two trades that totally didn't play
Yeah.
out, and then the one that
Definitely.
did, I guess. So I mean, let's make this a full screen here, and this is just technical analysis. Like I said, looking at that 2-minute chart that I've just been in for some reason. I just I like it. Maybe it's because it gives the 1 minute, one more minute to think about what it wants to do, right?
There you go.
So like I said, and this is Eastern Standard Time, so 2100. That's when we first started the session here. There was a bunch of chop, just kind of coming off of this little downtrend. EMAs, 9 EMAs, the green line. So yeah, the shorter one leading the longer one, 21 EMA on the purple. So yeah, just like kind of a clear downtrend, and nothing really going on. I come in 9 p.m. Kind of just take a look at the markets, see that we're getting this little bit of a wedge formation. What I was planning on happening, and of course, right, everyone has a plan until, what does Mike Tyson say? Until you get punched in the face, right?
You get punched in the mouth,
And
yep, or in the face.
yeah, unbelievable. I guess it's true, but we have this little support level here, 23,923, or I'll say 923. Okay, this bottom yellow line, a little bit of a support, a little bit of a wedge pattern forming. What I was honestly looking for was just kind of a bounce off of there, a close above the upper yellow line to get that confirmation that we are indeed going higher. But instead, we kind of got a break below the support level. I was long, lost $250. That's why you guys saw I was down like 260, 270 earlier in the session. And then, of course, I called it out here with Coach Tiger. Massive green candle, I'll call it. I'll drop a word there. Kind of just straight up, right? And that's that bull flag, right? Could figure
Yep.
out another word that begins with a B, right? So I had to get that bull flag. So you got like the formation of a flagpole here, and let's go to the 5 minute. You probably, yeah. I mean, a really good bull flag. Great close on that, and again above that wedge pattern. So you get a close above there. Good confirmation. If you're looking at the 2 minute, if you're looking at the 5 minute, you had ample time to get in, to this extra green candle and take a ride up. That's exactly what I did. So made like $150 there, kind of closed it out. Then we started having the painting of the flag, I guess it's called the actual bull flag, right? If you think of a flag actually
Mm-hmm.
flying. And then we just,
Yeah.
again, needed that upward confirmation, a close above that trend line, that little small yellow line there. We got it. Again, you had an ample time to get in, close above that confirmation, and then whoosh, straight up again. So now we're almost back to flat, only down $64. Don't get caught up in the chop. You just had two great trades. Sit and wait for the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to do here. And then I was just taking a look, kind of at the fib level on this mini run up. If you are looking for a trade and you can't stand just sitting on your hands, after you get like a red candle, after you've had a clear uptrend, clear bullish trend, you get a red candle, you've clearly made a new high. I guess you could go and paint your Fibonacci level. That 38.2, that 38.2% level is right here at that 931. We kind of bounced off of there just a little bit if you're looking for a couple extra points. But now it's just chopping up. Do nothing. When it chops up, do nothing. Okay? It's not a good trade. So that's kind of all I was looking
I could,
at there. But back to flat.
Awesome.
pretty much wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, no. Well, I even throw up caution, no loitering signs in my little retail chop zones and color them gray
Oh,
just
you
so I know to
kidding
stay
me?
there.
Yeah.
Well,
It's so true. Like you don't want to be in there.
yeah. Well, let's get back to you again in just a second, Tony. It looks like we're ready to pass out a free account.
Oh, here
We
we
got a
go.
50K account. So we'll give back in a minute to get that graphic ready. And yeah, so just going to have to get a little bit of a drum roll first. Coach Paul, help us with the drum roll. Okay. I see you. I see you in the chat. Help us with the drum roll.
The emojis.
And the winner of the 50K account is, let's see if I timed it. Oh, I did time it perfect. Latif Musa. There we go.
There we go.
So congrats, Latif. Got some confetti going into my cup of water here. That's for you. That's for you. So thanks everybody for the comments, the likes. We're still on for another 29 minutes, but yeah, Latif, congrats. You'll get an email fairly soon from our awesome back end team, and it'll give you all the instructions you need. Okay, and as far as getting your account set up and doing the thing, joining the team, joining our trading army. We'll all go into battle together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So good stuff. Good stuff. Good
Latif. Latif Musa. There we go.
Yeah. Where are you
Come
from,
back
Latif?
again
We're
for
just
another.
It's always nice to see where everybody
off.
hails from. Sound off. Yeah. Tell us where you're from. Again, I'm right here in the center of the states, right here in Kansas. So, and then Mr. Tony's over in Boston on the East Coast,
Boston.
which I need to get over there. I've never been to Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never
you're kidding
been.
me.
I do want to. Never have. I've been to New York one time, or well, I went to Syracuse, so that's fun.
There you go.
Yeah, my cousin lives on near Times Square in New York, so I went there once in 2014. But yeah, as far as Boston, I've never been. I'd love to go to Fenway. I would love to go to a game at Fenway.
Yeah. We're going to actually be out there for a concert. They're doing concerts in Fenway Park now. It's unbelievable.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So, all right, we got that taken care of. We got that.
Looks good.
Got that. Am the most happiest person today, Latif says. Good stuff. Well, we're happy to make your day, right? We don't give handouts, but we do give hand ups, and this is a simple way of doing that. Just for some people, that's all it takes is just help them out with a challenge account. Prove your mettle.
Yeah.
Tune in with us daily or weekly, whatever is easiest on your schedule, and we'll just be here to nickel and dime you day by day, help you out with a little piece of advice here and there. So, but anyway, back to you, Tony.
Honestly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, I'm just like, kind of trying to figure any other trades I can get into. I'll actually probably take a look at some of the other commodities that are trading. I mean, I got the silver chart up here that seems to not get too much love, especially on my end, because I've been, trading during the daytime, during the futures takeoff with all the other futures traders, and we're just like looking at the NASDAQ, trying to lose some money. So, I mean, silver, just a massive run up, like this overnight session, up almost 20 cents here. I mean, there's got to be some sort of headline, or it's just like the Hong Kong session driving it up even further. Take a step back. Let me go to like the 1 hour. Oh, wow. We're like getting close to like, what is it, all-time highs almost? Going to break that 40 level eventually. Looks like a pretty good setup.
40, was it 39.52? As far as
39.90?
The Zag nut. I call it Zag nut.
Oh, God. Of course.
Do you remember those candy bars?
Yes.
Yes, that was the best. That was my favorite.
I wasn't born yesterday. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't sure you got. I didn't know. I had no idea. No, we had this discussion on Forex Fire this morning because we brought up Beetlejuice, or we were talking about silver, and I said Zag.
Oh, really?
ZagUSD, and then Zagnut came out, and I was reminding
Yeah,
them
yeah,
of
yeah.
Beetlejuice when he pulls the Zagnut out of the cemetery to the fly. He's trying to catch
Absolutely.
the fly. And hey, you, come here. Got something for you. You got something for me to bite? Something to
Yeah,
munch?
yeah, yeah.
And he grabs the fly and
Oh
eats
my
it.
god.
But the Zagnut,
Accents.
that was
Accents are accents your thing?
no. I guess I do that one pretty decent.
I was gonna say, honestly, dude, come on.
Yeah,
Gotta start making some money off of this stuff. I
yeah,
mean,
might
yeah,
have.
it's just like silver just been following that like uptrend, that freaking
Yeah,
great support level since like beginning of April. Just unbelievable. So bullish. I'm sure all the people that are, sitting on their silver and gold are just like pump, baby, pump.
happy.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll see gold go to like 4,000 by the end of the year. Who knows? I know that I was reading a report out of JP Morgan. If anyone pays attention to those guys at those big banks with their fancy suits and their crazy watches, they're saying that, yeah, they say that gold is going to, say it again.
It's funny you're saying that like you never worked there.
Oh, well, yeah, I know. Well, the guys down in New
Yeah,
York are a totally different breed, honestly.
yeah.
It's one of those
I'm
things.
thinking.
It's like you got to be careful about, rolling around in New York with some of those bankers. They might try to fleece you. So,
Oh yeah, you bet.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is though. But yeah, they were just calling for gold $4,000 an
Yeah.
ounce, which is just like, holy crap, like what is going on here? Um, but I do recall. I mean, looking at, let's pull up the gold chart, right? Let's look at the gold
Mm,
chart 4 hour. Um, God, even crazier than silver. Just a
yeah.
massive uptrend, and now just this consolidation around the 3,400 level. Insane. I know that when the
Annoying
Trump
too.
administration came in, they were looking at obviously the gold reserves out there in Fort Knox, trying to get Fort Knox
Hmm.
audited, saying, is the gold
Yeah.
actually there? And for
Yeah.
anyone that does read some of the reports that come out of COMEX Gold, which is obviously one of the the major exchange for gold, um, they handle obviously the cash markets, but they also handle the majority of the physical market for gold. They publish, I think it's a weekly report. I'm pretty sure it's weekly. I don't think it's monthly, of storage facilities, the COMEX Gold approved storage facilities, all the reports.
Mm,
And you just saw this massive influx physical gold going into the COMEX Gold warehouses. And I could only assume that it was the US government just buying um, spot physical gold hand over fist, trying to fill the gap that potentially might exist between the audited
wow.
records of how much gold is in Fort Knox and what's actually in Fort Knox. God forbid
Oh my.
anyone decided to walk in and audit it. So
Yeah.
no shit, here we are, $3,500 gold, and it's not going down, people. It's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to hear a bear case on gold. Like truly, if anyone has it, put it in chat. If anyone has it, Fridays I'm on the futures trading um, segments, all of them, all Friday. Call me out in the chat, please. Give me the bear
Yeah.
case for gold, because I'm inclined to believe that, like, yeah, it's going to 3,400, and then factor in
Mhm.
everything else that's happening, the geopolitical stuff with China. Like, China is one of the biggest buyers of gold still, and then Japan, who's like almost as big as China in terms of buying gold. It's like, what is going on here? Is it because something bad's going to happen? Is it because the AI race demands gold for technology, for the CPUs, for whatever gold goes into in a computer, or for quantum computing? Or yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think we lost
Catherine,
you there.
gold definitely going up.
Oh, there you go. You're back. Yeah. I mean, it typically inverses the U.S. dollar, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I don't really care if the
Has
dollar
it still
goes
held
straight
that parity?
up. Pretty decently. I mean, especially on news releases.
Yeah,
But
sure.
but yeah, I mean, even if the dollar were to somehow keep going up and up and up, which yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't see gold just inversing over the long term like that.
Yeah,
I
I
just
hear
don't see
you.
it.
I can't even pull up US dollar on this. Unbelievable. I would just
Yeah, I mean,
overlay, gold, spot gold with US dollar, but yeah, sorry people. Do it on your own platform.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I could do it over.
it's
Let's see here. XAU USD.
yeah, back end. You want to
Uh,
pull up Coach Tiger's screens here?
yeah, we'll see what we got.
And that wasn't that it as well as usually I mean that's the other thing is that when the US market used to sell off, right? You'd see gold spike up because, safe haven currency or safe haven security. And like you don't see that
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Like it was almost like silver and gold were well, at least silver was like tied to whatever the Nasdaq did, which is just so weird, so odd. Oh wow, so you
So
got a little bit of divergence there.
this is kind of the weekly, but yeah, I mean it kind of diverges. It kind
Yeah,
of converges at
yeah.
times.
Only it seems like it's just like the major moves that it's just like
Yeah,
you know, yeah. It's and that's the other thing is that do any of these rules actually work anymore? I mean, only when like
I don't.
the crap's
I
hitting the
don't even.
fan. Like I guess like we revert back to okay, buy gold, sell the dollar. Like
Yeah, I don't really. I just. I don't. I don't really worry too much about it. I mean, I'll look. I pay attention to it. Obviously, like
sure,
last week. Actually, great example was the CPI report we just had.
yeah,
I mean, I was looking to try to. Now we had mixed results because we had the year over year core number, which wasn't on Forex Factory. This is something I pointed out last night. We had
hmm
mixed results, but you couldn't tell depending on which calendar you were looking at because gold obviously just kind of went sideways. I mean, it had a little bit of a sporadic movement. Just don't. Let me get rid of this now. But yeah, back here yesterday when that report came out, it just kind of went. Oh, here it is
hmm
actually. Just kind of wicked up and down, just went sideways for a while. So everybody was like, "How in the world?" Everybody that was looking at Forex Factory, I should say, how in the world is
hmm
gold just going sideways when they had a negative or a positive reading because it was a negative CPI for the currency for the dollar currency.
yeah, yeah,
But then you go look at sometimes you just got and that's why I was explaining this because you have to kind of look at some other calendars out there. So like FX Street calendar or the BLS.gov site, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, comparing and
yeah.
contrasting with some of these other calendars just to make sure something is on there or something's not missing like it was on Forex Factory. So anyway, you go look at these other calendars; they're a little more accurate. I noticed. But anyway,
Unreal,
yeah.
it's unreal.
But yeah, that's it. I'll just kind of look at some smaller term movements, the divergences between the dollar and the gold. That's basically about it. I don't really look at it too much on a long term basis, just more the intraday or more the short term swing level.
Where do you usually go for your news? Daily Mail.
You know what? Since starting with Hola Prime, they told us about the financial juice, so I've actually been liking it pretty well. But pretty much
Yeah,
FX Street, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
obviously one of the main ones it tracks. So FX Street, and then I'll also go just the Yahoo Finance just to get just a front page view of what the public's looking at as
hmm
far as whatever the
hmm
news of the day is, the news of the world. But I just look at that kind of for opposite reasons. I mean, if people go in there and they see something that's looks pretty scary and they're going to start selling dollars or something or buying dollars, whatever, I tend to look at it on the contrarian side. Okay, well, if they're doing that and I've got a fundamental reason to take the other side of it because of the
hmm
collection of economic reports as the aggregate. Well, I look at
Yes,
that
sir.
as a good sign that maybe they'll panic it into my zone. I can take the opposite side, take a trade the opposite direction. So that's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
thing I
yeah,
love.
yeah. Absolutely.
The herd
Oh
mentality,
my
man. It
god.
just kind of
Yeah, yeah.
and that's
I
what
know. It still reigns true.
yeah. Yeah, that's our goal. Help people think independently without following the herd. Yeah,
That's
because
all
I
you
heard
can do.
90% of traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days. It's just kind of a
Yeah,
stat
I
that's
know.
thrown out. I don't know how accurate it is or isn't, but it sounds pretty close. What do you think, Tony?
No, I think that you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just time tested, right? I mean, a majority of people are just gonna not be able to follow the rules, and but that's the other thing is that when you're like new to trading and you have this huge windfall and you just make a bunch of money, like yeah, you get a little greedy, right? You get a little aggressive. Maybe you lever up next time, and you know it's the market. It oscillates all the time. The market dynamics change before you even know that they are changing. So just because the setup looks the same, you definitely need to confirm that it is the same before you enter into
Yeah.
it. Um, so yeah, I'm always weary of levering into things, especially when they're not working out. But I'm definitely not one of those guys that's like immediately cut it, cut the loss if you like enter into a position and just goes against you for a second. It's like, okay, the market's oscillating, it's chopping, like just freaking give it a second.
But yeah, that's why for everybody in chat, that's why it's always good to look at a retail sentiment chart like this. I mean, this is one of the main sentiment pieces of analysis I look, aside from the COT report, which is the institutions.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it's easy to look at these charts and see where everybody is net. Are they net long? Or are they net short? So looking
Hmm.
at the
Hmm.
very top, this is just the major pairs. Dollar Swiss franc as an example. Retail traders, you and me, people like us on our home computer at home. So not somebody working in an institution. They're 85% net long. Well, why are they net long? Well, I'm assuming if I go to my chart, they're net long because this chart's going straight down, right?
Yeah.
Let's go take a look
Yep.
at dollar Swiss. Okay, and it obviously is relative to the time frame you're looking at. So what
Oh,
did I
sure.
say they were net? Well, I forget
Net
which
long.
pair I left. There. Yeah, but I left. I lost the currency pair. I forgot where I put that, where I copied and pasted it. Anyway, okay, so dollar Swiss. So they're net long 85%. So dollar Swiss, going back here. So they're net long when the chart's going down. When you're looking at it on a higher time
Mm-hmm.
frame, it's going down. Now it's obviously kind of
Mm-hmm.
turning around, but that sometimes is a fake out. I mean, yeah, we do have some higher highs, higher lows. Okay, problem is you're running into some resistance right here. Okay, you got a green candle up before this big drop down. Bad place to be going long when you're buying into a higher time frame resistance or supply zone in
Sure.
this case. So
Yeah.
just something to
Yep.
keep an eye on, keep your mind, keep an eye out for. But that's probably not the greatest example. Let's see, euro dollar. So euro dollar traders are net short. Okay, look at this. It's very similar, but net short. The average retail trader is net short. What's this price doing? It's going up.
Mm-hmm.
Going up, right? And you even have a recent swing low, but it's going up. So little things like that is good contrarian signals. 90% of traders lose 90% of their money within the first 90 days. Right. Insert your own time frame, even if you make it 90 whatever, 90 months, 5 years, 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. 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 No, I know. I know.
Losing
Don't be a part of the statistic.
Don't be a statistic. So this is a contrarian signal when referring to the chart, the contrarian, they're the retail sentiment, just as an example. So
Mm-hmm.
we're throwing out some facts. Hopefully, you guys are open to facts.
Open to facts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Facts, not your
we didn't.
feelings, right?
Yeah, facts don't care about your feelings, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We just like to give it to you straight, and it's not for everybody. Some people like to go to signal services. We're not a signal service. We don't pass out the fish other than the free
Right.
accounts, but we want to teach you how to fish because we want you not to be
Yeah.
here just
Absolutely.
in a month. We want you to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So
Seriously.
we got,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Being
give you
profitable on
the
your own.
straight butter, the straight butter. Um, let's see, just a About 10 minutes left. Just going to see if there's anything updated on my list real quick and take a look at maybe. So yeah, so still got gold and NASDAQ and S&P 500 as my top bullish. I haven't looked at Eurodollar yet. I don't think. Eurodollar is on my list as a score of a 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, going down to a 4-hour, 1 hour, 15. Yeah, I still think that my favorite initial move on the Eurodollar is going to be this zone down here. So yeah, we're still quite a ways away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not really interested. Maybe by the time Forex fire. So by the time we start Forex fire, perhaps. Oh, there was my list right there. I have put it up there twice. Perhaps by the time that we start Forex fire, perhaps this supply zone where it's bouncing through, perhaps there's going to be enough power for it to push price down to my level. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Because that's a really strong looking zone. What happened to my? There it is. So that's kind of what my goal is. We'll see if that can work out. Now, higher time frame zones are typically stronger than the lower time frame zones. So I would definitely have to be careful about that. So that daily supply could potentially be strong enough, stronger than this 1 hour demand, right? So the only way in hell I'll trade that is if price were to come down and then give me a super strong bullish engulfing candle, but I better see something like 3x the VSA, relative to the recent candles. Because if I don't see the volume pick up, meaning the institutions aren't jumping in this thing, you can kiss my behind. I ain't going to trade it.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. It's going to blow right through.
Exactly. And then if that were the case, then I'd be way more interested in buying in demand further down in this area, which I think I identified a 30-minute demand down here. Yeah, there we go. And with excellent, super strong VSA expanded range candles coming out, as well as an expanded range price candle. So I really like this area down here. And it's at the bottom of that range, or the bottom of the curve. Hell yeah. Be interested in that.
Absolutely.
We out here today if price gets down to that point. Then I can move my
set your alerts.
Curve analysis down here. Yeah, then I'd be at the bottom 33. Yeah, that's probably the play now that I see that supply zone. I don't think I want to get in the way of buying here after seeing that. So I'll wait till price comes down. I'm going to be patient.
Sometimes you have to be. I mean, a majority of the time you have to be. Honestly, you don't want to just jump right in, right? You got to wait for that confirmation.
Yep, that's it. Catherine says gold definitely going up. Oh, there's my chart. Well, let's see what the retail crowd thinks about gold. Metals. So, okay, so yes, I agree with you. Number one, here's what the average retail trader is positioned as on gold. Yeah, that's gold traders. Net short. They're basically 3 out of 4 retail traders are in the middle of a sell position. But why would they be in the middle of a sell position if we're in a higher time frame uptrend? Right? Hell, I could go clear back to the dinosaurs, right? You guys know we have dinosaurs, right? Right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dinosaurs. No, I literally
that is awesome.
I literally meant to the dinosaurs.
Oh God.
But tell me how much sense it makes for people to pick the top, right? That's the reverse of catching a falling knife. They're hovering in a hot air balloon above a raisin rocket, right? Now, yes, gold obviously gold in the recent 3 months has been in a sideways trend, but if we have a
Yeah.
super strong uptrend like this, and then we have this sideways action, well, look, that happens a lot. There's a sideways
Yeah, I
action
know.
there.
We need to break a structure before we know it's going down first. Like, what the heck?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hell, even and this is why I love using the master pattern, because again, it's kind of a derivative of you know Wyckoff theory, accumulation distribution. But if I have that turned on and I go back down to like a weekly, okay,
Yeah.
it's going to wrap what's called a contraction box around the areas where price tended to go sideways. Well, if you're going sideways, long enough, and this is also doesn't matter what time frame you're looking on. If you're going sideways for X amount of candles, well, that's fair value. That's fair market value. That's where everybody's agreeing, right?
Yep.
So if everybody's agreeing on price, what does that also mean? It means they're confused. Well, is it going up? Is it going up or is it going down? So
if I could
just
be
a little,
long and could be short at the same time, I would be.
Yeah, even go into the daily, get rid of all my drawings for a second, but yeah, just more contraction. I mean, all the time frames are going to show something similar. So what do I like to do? Well, I just like to wait to see what direction price goes underneath those contraction boxes, because that's what the big banks are going to do. They're going to push price down, collect liquidity, push price up, collect some liquidity on the top side, maybe push it down a little lower, a little higher. They do that each time on some of these smaller time frames and bigger time frames, and then at some point they'll finally pick a trend, and that's where we latch on. So, yeah, it's accumulation, distribution, and manipulation. You gotta remember the
It's a whole lot of manipulation. Yeah, a whole lot of manipulation. Sleight of hand. Make everyone think that it's going up, and then come in and crush them.
Really is a swimming in the sharks kind of world, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
That we play in.
It is unbelievable, and I think it happens a lot more on the equity trading side. Kind of that. I don't want to call it spoofing, but
Yeah.
when these you have these like fast money hedge funds that'll kind of just come in and bid it up in the pre-market and then just slam it down right after, so that there's a lot of extra liquidity to hold the price. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. The freaking SEC should look into that type of stuff, but whatever. Yep. Some people do the job,
Whatever's
some people
clever.
don't. I'm just here to trade.
Yep, that's it. We're not economists. I don't claim to be. Even though I primarily
this is
focus
not
on
financial advice, right?
Not financial advice. Yep. Educational, entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty. You don't have to be an economist to trade. You just got to know how to read a few little reports, add them together, make a sandwich out of it. All right.
Yep.
If it's bullish, take a long. If it's bearish, take a short. It's really
absolutely
the basics. Obviously, there's a lot of nuances that go in it, but yeah, stick around us long enough. We'll help you out with that. So with that, we got about a minute left. Coach Tony, you got any parting thoughts or anything you're going to be keeping an eye out for tomorrow?
I mean, honestly, I think I'm just going to take a look. Handy dandy economic calendar. It's one of those things that you need to just look at. I mean, there's PPI, so Producers Price Index tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. So watch out for that. Yep. And then they got retail sales 8:30 a.m. On Friday. Friday's going to be a pretty hot day, so I assume there's going to be some whippage. 8:30 retail sales, 10 a.m. Michigan consumer sentiment, and then of course whatever headlines come out of that conference from Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Watch out for that. Be careful, be safe, and come back for the live coverage at Hola Prime.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be probably bringing that up Sunday on the market kickoff, 4:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see what happens from the Trump Putin little conference or whatever you want to call it. Summit, I guess they call it. Well, with that, that's it. We've reached the end, ladies and gents. Congrats again for your win. Latif. And yeah, I'll be back at 3 a.m. Central Standard Time for Forex Fire.
Sounds good.
Have
All right, we'll see you.
Alrighty. Have a good one.
Hola Prime, trade with transparency.